Hello again, all. A science fiction comedy that actually is funny, unlike the one that I reviewed earlier, Station 76, is has the very unusual name Space Milkshake. This was directed by, it's a Canadian production. It was directed and written by a guy named Amren Evrancel, and it stars Billy Boyd, Robin Dunne, Kristin Kreuk, and Amanda Tapping and the voice of George Takei. Yes, Mr. Sulu on Star Trek has a very key role in this, actually, but only as a voice over character. Um, it's a very funny. Uh, and also Amy Matsuo as the voice of Wendy, who's the ship's computer, and Barry Lane as a guy from ground control. Um, it's about a space sanitation station whose job is to destroy space debris, and it's run by this very kind of jerk character who's a Scotsman whose name is Anton Valentine, and he's carrying on an affair with Valentina, who is played by the beautiful Amanda Tapping, and she's breaking up with him, and he's kind of upset, and she wants to go back to Earth, and he doesn't really know why, and he says, "This is the sex," and she says, "No, the sex was great," and he says, "Well, then what is it then?" And she like won't really tell him, and there's another character played by Kristin Kreuk called Tilda, and Tilda basically just listens to her headphones. She doesn't talk to anybody, but she's an officer. She's a lieutenant, and is the ship's like navigation officer. Um, she's kind of stand watching. Then there's a new guy played by Robin Dunne called Jimmy, and he's constantly being harried by basically everybody on the whole crew, except Kristen Kreuk, who doesn't talk to anybody. But something happens. They're going they're going to salvage the wreckage of a shuttle that they blew up, and even though they were told them not to, and they also told them not to salvage the wreckage, but they ground control, but they go ahead and do it anyway because they want to, find out if there's anything good, and they'll split it three ways. They're not going to share anything with Jimmy because he's the new guy, but and Anton's always writing him. You fix this, fix that. He like wants to fix like 15 things. Fix the sandwich machine, fix the computer, clean his spacesuit, everything. And so he's kind of the grunt on the assignment, and he's not really resentful. He's kind of clueless, really. He's always tripping over things, which is very funny. And anyway, they bring aboard a strange device, which they don't know what it is. It just emits a blue light, and there's a flash. And all of a sudden, like everything seems to change. They can't contact ground control anymore. Wendy goes offline, the computer, and they can't figure out how to fix it. And something strange happens to Tilly. You hear her, you see that she faces an identical version of herself, and she screams. And they see like her body being put into a disposal, and Jimmy, who's looking for something else, accidentally he's looking at the laundry to wash Anton's spacesuit, and sees Tilda, but now she has like circuit marks, like a printed circuit board on her back. And he goes, "Oh my God, I didn't mean to see that." And he like is embarrassed because he saw her partly naked, and he turns around and he's like, making blather. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't say a word. And meanwhile, Anton's harassing him. "Yeah, what are you? Get back up here!" And he talks with this Scottish accent, and says, "Aren't you finished fixing the sandwich machine yet? All the good news is vegetable sandwich. I want a ham." He's like doing all this stuff. So they figure out that there's an impact, and Valentina is always spending a lot of time in the bath, and she has a rubber ducky. The impact is a second identical rubber ducky, only there's a slight difference. Her original rubber ducky said from G to V. This new one says from V to G on the bottom of it, and they can't figure out where this second rubber duck comes from. They're just kind of leave them sitting in the mess hall, and while they're eating, all their food machine will produce is sandwiches, and so they don't have anything else to eat. So they're sitting around the mess hall, and they leave the 2 rubber ducks in there. They can't figure out where the second rubber duck came from. It made an impact in the spaceship, and they had to go outside and retrieve it. Uh, and you see the rubber duck's eyes blink, and that's like a click. What the heck is going on with this thing? Meanwhile, Tilda has, begun acting like really strangely. She's just walking around looking at things like she hasn't ever seen anything before. She doesn't eat. She's not eating with them. She's not playing Scrabble with them, which is something they do. And in one of the she's playing Scrabble with Jimmy, and in one thing she spells out stranger on board, danger, and Anton just comes by and says, "You got to line the words up," and he like knocks all the tiles down off, so nobody's paying attention. Tilda mysteriously figures out a way to fix Wendy, but now Wendy has a male voice instead of a female voice, which I think it was kind of funny. A little bit of a parody on HAL 9000 there, but Wendy's not very, very helpful. Anyway, this second rubber duck somehow slides into the bath with Valley, and you see it's got tentacles now, and it's coming towards her, and then there's an emergency. She's called out of the bath. She's like, "Oh my God," has to get out of the bath, and later you see the rubber duck has now grown more tentacles, like kind of like an octopus, and it's trailing this kind of green slime-ish stuff, which again, parody in the movie, the green slime. It makes its way to the control room, and it's messing around with the controls on the ship, and we can't figure out what's going on. And Wendy goes down again, and Anton's railing on Jimmy about it, and he's trying to fix it. Tilda's trying to help him. Tilda tells Jimmy, she goes down and studies the human computer files on human languages. And later she tells Jimmy she's a robot. She's not the real Tilda. She's from a parallel universe, and that there's this strange being on board, and the being is actually communicates with Valerie, this rubber duck, and says that it's her ex-boyfriend Gary. There's an in-joke here. His name is Gary Pinback. Pinback was the name of the hapless character played by Dan O'Bannon on another science fiction comedy, Dark Star, by George Carpenter. And so that's a kind of an in-joke there. And it communicates with her and says, "It's me, I'm Gary. I traveled across 12 dimensions of space and time to find you. And, I got caught in an accident, and this body form is temporary. I can't get back to my real body, and it keeps changing. And, I came back for you," basically. And he's like, was her former lover. And Anton found out about this by asking Wendy, and he's really upset by the fact that he's on the ship. And anyway, they because she lied and said they were only friends, that they weren't lovers, and he finds out that's not true. Anyway, a series of funny, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, a series of very funny events go on. Gary is asking Val to kill Anton after he attacks him, and she won't do it. And eventually, she kills him instead with this laser gun that Gary had initially destroyed, but Tilda repaired it. And then Tilda and Jimmy, the robot Tilda and Jimmy, are actually kind of fall in love, which is kind of funny too. It's a little bit of a parody of Galaxina in that too. Very funny, very goofy, wacky movie. The title means nothing. They asked the director, "What does the title mean?" He says it literally means nothing. They activate the time cube again. It returns them back to normal space and time, back to the point before they brought Gary on board, and they see Gary's shuttle, which had been destroyed by a piece of space debris, and that's what started the whole thing first time. And then they destroy Gary's shuttle instead. So now he's completely out. Very funny. I thought it was really good. Made in Regina, Saskatchewan, which is why the spaceship is called the 85813 Regina is the name of the spaceship. Very funny. Good sets, good special effects. George Takei is hilariously funny as Gary. I highly recommend it. Space Milkshake from 2012. It's available free on Tubi.